New World Aternum post-launch dev update. Welcome everybody in. I am your host, BabyFNelson, and we're going to be going over the post-launch dev update that was launched today, November 25th, 2024. We're going to hop in, get right in. Welcome everyone that's here. I see you beautiful people above me. I see you guys up there with all your hypeness, and I love it. What up, Deepu? What up, Sizzle? Hi, I see you. Doc, you're ugly. I see you in here too. Saying, my man, I'm famous. I'm gonna be on the tube. Yee, you're gonna be on the YouTube, baby. All right, let's talk about it. Let's give a little backstory. I think it's worth giving a backstory of why this may be YouTube-worthy content. Why, Nelson, of all the updates that they've put out, do you think this will may be YouTube-worthy? Because it's the first sign of a heartbeat in New World since Aternum announcement and since, honestly, Angry Earth. I mean, it seems, if I'm not mistaken, and I also posted a poll in the Discord, guys, make sure you check it out, about you guys, how you feel about this, and I want to get a conversation going in Discord about how you guys, I just slapped it in general. So, in all honesty, when looking at this, it's just, for most of us that are extremely, really big on New World, this is a breath of fresh air, and this is something that looks like, oh my God, they are listening. The biggest shout out of all, which this one goes out to my man, your boy Willie, my homie, my brother from another mother, my vanilla homie. This goes out to him. New OPR map. This man has preached this. I have preached this. Anybody who's played OPR or PvP in this game has preached this. It's one of the reasons why I don't do as much of it. I have seen so much of the same exact OPR map that it's just not a fun thing to do. It's not that I don't enjoy killing other players. I quite enjoy that. I did that for a very long time. Actually, I built my original channel off of killing other people in the dark, in-game. I'm no stranger to PvP, and I'm no stranger to knuckling up and getting with it and slapping up some of you young bucks and showing you that we can still get it done. Out here, us old heads can still make it happen. But either way, it's just interesting that it took this long. I don't know any game that has PvP in it that it takes them 3 years to announce a new map. So while there's a bunch of us coming back in, some of the OG players, there's a lot of us that are saying, is it a lot but too late? Like good but too late, right? Like great job, but you may have missed the bus already. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know the real answer to that. I think the only people that can answer that will be you guys as players, and it'll be me as a player, on what we do with the information and the hard work that AJS is doing. I want to say this real quick. Making a video game and managing a video game is not an easy feat, okay? I do not envy the stress that they deal with. I do not envy the pressure they are under. Albeit, they do want our money in return, and they do get paid to do these things. But that should not take away our human side and our humanity of understanding that, one, the internet can be very a harsh place, and two, as players, we can also be unreasonable with our expectations because we consume content, especially really good content, at a very high rate, right? At the same time, we want stability. Like, think of all the things your ideal player wants. We want tons of options, stability, tons of content, ease of access, and low price. We want everything for nothing. It's like you want the Beamer that costs 100 grand, you want it for 10, right? And you don't want to wait until Monday to pick up the car. If you order it today, you don't want to wait 5 days, 5 to 7 business days. You want it overnight shipped it tomorrow for $10 on top of that. You feel me? So that's how I feel like some of us as gamers have a sense of where we don't have a realistic idea and we're not realistic with our expectations of what we should be wanting out of the game, what we should be wanting or what we're getting. So I just had to throw that out there just to give AGS some love, because I do see with the things they're putting here, they are trying and they are working and doing what they think is best for the game. So give them some grace, chat. But I'm also on the same line, hold this, and I'm also arm in arm with you on the simple fact of, we've been waiting a while, and because we love you, we still here, but we don't know about those others if they're going to come back for this. So let's get into what they're doing. So let's see what they have to say here. It says, greeting adventurers. Welcome to our first post-launch New World Aternum dev update. It's been very exciting these past few weeks since the release of New World Aternum, with so many new and returning players arriving on the island. In today's update, we're going to talk through what to expect from the future of New World Aternum. We've been listening to players, and we know how important it is for the community to be informed of and understand what is planned for the game. We're excited to share a first look at what is coming down the road in the near term, but also we wanted to be transparent about some of the exciting content that's a little further out. We've heard you loud and clear and have been thinking hard about how to deliver updates and give more visibility into not only what the team is actively working on, but also what is in the early development, and even some of our early ideas that we're exploring in the studio. Very good. Very, very good. That's a good start. To that end, we are releasing a new roadmap. Roadmap poggers for anybody? Roadmap, let's go. We're releasing a roadmap format that we are calling a living roadmap. Our goal with a living roadmap is to keep our players informed as much as we can along the way, specifically covering 3 categories of feature development, feature development. New season, short term, what is coming in the next seasonal update. In development, and then we have in development section, which is midterm, what is an active development and will be coming in upcoming seasons. These items will not necessarily be available in the immediate next season, but within a season or 2. And then in exploration, these are ideas the dev team is discussing or exploring. These are features we've heard from players that they would be exciting for them, or that we just think would be good additions to the game. Some might move to in development. Some might fall off altogether if they are deemed to be not feasible or no longer of interest to our players. But we want to show what we are investigating here in the studio. That is a lot of information to digest, and we will keep refining this process as we go. We look forward to your thoughts. All right, let's see this. Living roadmap, chat. Here we got it. Living roadmap. This is November 2024 update. In development initiatives are, let's read the disclaimer below. In development initiatives are currently being worked on with details and timelines to be determined. In exploration, ideas are early stage and are being explored but not guaranteed. This document does not include everything we are working on and it is subject to change. So basically, they're letting you know this is what we have, but we can just say this is all. We can change this all tomorrow if we want. That is what that disclaimer says. That's a free get out of jail card. But I'm pretty sure at this point they don't want to play any games. So next season, let's see what we get. Seasonal World 1 PvP. New OPR map preview. So not the release in next season, but we get a preview. Mutated expedition upgrades, M3 matchmaking, new rewards, and unified mutations. Let's stop there real quick. M3 mutations. One's in chat if you're gonna use the M3 finder for groups. I want to see how many people are gonna be trying to do random Q M3s. I know I will. I'll throw my hat in the ring. I definitely will. If anything else, it's content. It is absolute content. Cause when folks pull up in that, if they don't have anything in there, I swear to God, if they don't have anything that checks minimum resistances, like minimum elemental resist. If they just let you go in there without, because they already have it where they check your focus, and for Carnelians for a tank, if they don't put a damn check on there to check that you actually hit a certain minimum amount of elemental resist, it is going to be a bloodbath. Oh my God, the infighting, the frustrate. Oh Lord Jesus, M3. Oh, that's going to be so good, so good. Oh my God. So from way too high, we have content aside, randoms can be the worst, especially with no communication. Maybe if I'm bored and no one is on, but besides that, I don't know about that one. LOL. I hear you on that one. I hear you on that. That's a tough one it's a tough one to digest, and it's a tough one to select to put yourself in that. Here's the only way that mode will get utilized is you see where it says new rewards. Those new rewards need to just not be new. They need to be better. And they need to be enticing. Enticing to the point to where enough solid and good M3 players will saturate that playlist. If you just get nothing but just mediocre, I'm on my couch with my, picking my belly button. I need some better gear. Let me go try to jump into M3 and get carried. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. All right. Then we have new daily solo trials, which is very cool. New artifacts and perks every season. So hold on, I didn't see that parentheses below. So the combat balance updates are going to happen every season now. And then new artifacts and perks are going to be coming out every season. And then seasonal events and world bosses every season. So we're going to have world bosses and seasonal events so they separate those two. See, seasonal events to me always seem like seasonal events come with the world boss. But they're separating it, so are they finally going to maybe have... that's what AGS needs to understand. Like, you don't need to tie a world boss into a specific real-world event. It doesn't have to be tied to Thanksgiving or Christmas or Halloween. You can just have this pissed off big ass corrupted guy that just wants to kill everybody because he felt like it. And hey, we call this, I don't know, Gorgon's Revenge or Gorgon's Campaign or something. There's just random mini enemies out there for you to go kill and that chance at some bomb ass loot. That is simple content. Just like you have Turkulons randomly spawn, make a couple of different monsters randomly pop up here and there. Same as that concept that Turkulon has, but Twerkulon, but make it whatever you want for those guys. And if it's really good gear that drops, make it a limit drop just like you do the turkey leg. Boom, bam, done. Engagement, right? Let's talk in development. In development, we have new seasonal worlds, new territory season improvements. We have in-game progression improvements, pickup wars, crafting improvements, new PvP modes, new mode maps, invasion mode matchmaking, in-game reputation, crafting improvements, invasion difficulties, in-game rewards, and system improvements, global storage. Who was here yesterday? Who was here yesterday when I said, why don't they have a global storage, and why the hell... what does separate cities still? What does it matter? Did I not just say that yesterday? I said it yesterday. In barbershop, hell yes. In exploration, they're looking for new weapons. Notice they did not say artifacts. New weapons. So daggers, pistols. Those are the most simplest additions, right? Because their movements and capabilities are already in the game. What attack types do enemies do that we have not seen yet, that we don't have access to? I don't know of a single weapon besides for daggers and pistols that we don't have. That's the only thing that I don't know. That's the only thing that I've seen enemies use that we don't have. Maybe they're thinking outside of that. Maybe a slashing weapon other than a great sword. So what do we have for slashing weapons right now? We have hatchet, great sword, great axe, hatchet, great sword, great axe, and sword, right? That's the 4 we have right now. Thrust weapons. The thrust weapons we have is spear. Then you have your bow. And then you have your rapier. So maybe daggers will be the next thruster weapon. Pistols, pistols will be kind of sick if they make pistols do strike damage instead of thrust damage. Because everything that shoots does thrust damage. Blunderbuss does thrust damage. Bow does thrust damage. Musket does thrust damage. It'd be really sick if they made the pistol do thrust damage. That'd be kind of cool. Anyways, I'm going to talk more about these things definitely when we start the video here, but I just wanted to go over this. In exploration, they also have, they look at a new raid, procedural expedition with extraction. Sounds like the Dark Zone, but a new world, raid difficulty levels, new PvE modes, territory system overhaul, new exploration collection systems, influence tower claim / siege system with building, in-game rewards and system overhauls. All instance content available in matchmaking, zone up levels, new zone, company hall with storage. Hi, we were just talking about this yesterday too as well. Company storage. Holy. And new trade skill. I don't need that one though, unless it's bomb. All right. So there's that. Let's see the video coming in here right now, and let's watch it. Shall we, chat? Let's kick it into high gear, and let's watch this beautiful, beautiful thing, shall we? And guys, I may split this up into 2 different videos. I might have a react and then a coverage of the notes. I don't know. We may make all in one. If I do it all in one, then I'll probably cut this part out. If I didn't cut it out, then that means I cut it into 2. But all right, let's watch the video, chat. All right. New World in Aternum dev update November 2024. Let's watch. Let's see what Scott's got going on, and let's check it out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the New World Aternum post-launch dev update. I'm Scott, the game director on New World Aternum. I'm here with Dave, the creative director, Dan, give a nod, the design lead, and Katie, the live lead. Before we get going, oh my gosh, we launched.
We did it.
We've seen people pile in the beaches. It's been awesome. It has been so fun getting the console players interacting with the PC players and watching all that fun stuff. Any stories you all want to share about the launch?
I mean, I really enjoyed seeing the raid. Like the first time seeing that completed was epic. Now people are optimizing it. It's like really cool.
Yeah, mine is related to that because we just saw the first sub 30 minutes and actually first sub 20-minute raid run, which is really awesome, but also means we're going to make the next raid really hard.
I'm loving it being on console, so it's my living room. The whole family gets to play. It's really fun.
The response has been great. Thank you all for coming and checking it out. Like, I can't tell you how exciting it is for all of us to put this out there and see everyone playing it and giving us the feedback. So like we're really appreciative. Couldn't be happier. So I know some of you are joining us for the first time. And what we're going to do next is we're going to talk about where we plan to go with New World.
Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you very, very much for the follow-up.
Season 7, so we can walk you through all of the cool things coming out in Season 7 and sneak peek. They're pretty freaking cool. Beyond that, we have this thing that we're going to talk about called in development. So these are a bunch of features that we're working on. We are not ready to commit to a timeline, but we want to give you that insight and get some feedback from you, which will help us prioritize which ones come first and where we go. And then we're going to talk about some things that are in the early ideation phase. This is where we just want to get your sense which of these you like more than others, because this is where you can have a big impact on where we go with the game this year. But with that, Dan, you're going to take us through this.
Yeah, so next we're going to dive into these things one by one. We'll bring in some other folks to the table and gobble, gobble, let's go.
Gobble, gobble.
Hello, everybody. So now we are joined by 3 new faces at the table. We have 3 lead designers. We have Joel of...
Would y'all be offended if I skip some of this stuff? If I kind of like get to the meat and potatoes and kind of, we kind of start to summarize this up so I can get to some gaming.
Systems and Seasons. We have JR of Combat and Modes. And we have Chad.
Nope. Great.
AI and Encounters coming at the top of next year. Obviously, we just got done shipping a big console game, and we're getting back up and running into content and feature development. And we'll take you through one at a time. The first one being something we've been talking about for a long time. Finally have, super excited. Joel, do the honors. Tell us about Seasonal Worlds.
Yeah, this is one that I'm personally really excited about and something that I really have been invested in. So Seasonal Worlds are a season-based world that will last for the time of the season, so roughly around 3 months, that has unique rule sets where we really flip things on their head. The goal being that we provide players with a really unique experience that breaks the rules that, in the case, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, maybe PvP is always on these rules or on these worlds.
You gave it away.
I did give it away. As you know, the first server, not as you know, but
Why did he just cut? Why they cut right there? Because he just chastised the hell out of him. He's like, bro, how you just gonna give it away?
as you know now, the first server is PvP focused, and that's something that's near and dear to me. I've played a lot of games over the years that I really enjoy that risk reward.
Yo, what the hell is this armor? That's kind of sick looking, Chad. Can we?
Feeling.
Yo, for my drip people that love the drip, can we get a comment on this one here? They even got a little bondage going on the chest. That's there for Jaded. I know she's pogging right now, but that's actually not bad.
The first server is at level 15. You'll be fighting other players. We've created a unique set of item and gear that you'll be able to craft. It's very heavily crafting focused, which I also really like, where the player will feel
Raza, what's
powerful
up,
in
man?
this gear, but the risk that comes with this gear that you'll be able to craft is that it drops on death, that it has durability. We're pulling back some of those old mechanics that don't exist in the normal world. Death, that it has durability, but the risk that comes with.
All right, so this server is basically gonna be PvP's always on. So just looting one specific area could be an all-day fight. Could you imagine just trying to do a chest run and it's being camped by blue and yellow? You would never get anything done. Looting wouldn't be the thing. Just finding people to kill people would be the thing.
With this gear that you'll be able to craft is that it drops on death, that it has durability. We're pulling back some of those old mechanics that don't exist in the normal world.
Resources and the gear.
Yes.
All drop on death.
The resources, well, the new resources to craft our special new really kind of super items that are on par with, say, artifacts in this server, those drop on death.
Yep.
But you'll be able to craft some more basic gear that's still pretty high gear score with some more basic resources like iron, timber, and hide. You'll be able to craft your normal gear that's still really high gear score, but you'll need to wear that special gear that's dropped on death.
Let me know if you're gonna play. If y'all gonna play. Anybody, can I get some W's in chat if you're gonna be playing on the actual on a PvP server when it launches? Check it out. Yeah, Big Bino, it's gonna be a new server. They won't take the server you're currently on and make this change. It'll be a server you have to join into. They'll probably give you a separate character, like you'll have its own little region drop down, maybe too. You'll be good.
To go get these new resources to craft these really cool big items.
That gear also, like, you should talk about, like,
Who's gonna play on this server when it comes out? I wonder.
Because it can drop on death. Like we did things that we normally would be kind of leery balance.
Did you mention that it breaks too?
It does break.
Yes.
But to JR's point, we took some of these pieces of gear and we really pushed the limit on them to make them feel special, to make them feel like there's impact. These should feel on par to artifact items, if not farther in some cases.
Very farther.
Yeah. So really the goal is how crazy is it going to be? How much are we going to shake up the meta?
You're not a
how much
PvPer?
of a different experience can we provide to you? While still some of that familiar feeling, that core of the game that is so much fun. So we can kind of experiment and again, find what's fun to you or fun to me.
No problem. That's why I think, you make a good point. You're not a PvPer, right? There's something in here for everyone. That's one thing I love about the update. The dev update and the roadmap they just showed is that it had PvP and PvE aspects on it, which means there was something for everybody. For far too long, PvPers have been left on the back burner with New World. And if you don't understand how important it is to keep a PvP family happy in the MMO, it's a really big deal. Unless your PvE is just so incredibly overshadows the PvP to where it just makes no sense. But honestly, very few MMOs are able to do that without supporting their PvP. Like, PvP helps, it all feeds each other. So, good news is you don't have to be a PvPer to enjoy, a PvP person to enjoy New World.
Or fun to each other. I'm really looking forward to what we can do with these systems.
It feels a lot like the original New World Alpha, but with all of the QOL and content that it now has. It's pretty cool.
We should also reiterate, so it's a brand new server, that literally wipes every season. So you also get that new player experience every season. If you
Totally
like that.
You get those hordes of players coming in from the beach. You get the camps on the ground. You're going to have a lot of death and maiming getting to the settlements. That's my jam. I'm a somewhat of aggressive player, so I'm excited to see how players are going to treat this, how they're going to form up and protect each other, but also potentially rob each other from their gear.
It feeds into the territory system too. It brings those big stakes to this. Crafters are now a necessary part of your war machine as you take over the server. It's all there.
And there's a lot of little fine-tuning quality of life tweaks that we're also looking at as well. So like,
So PvP is always on. Am I going to be able to run into Brimstone Sands and shoot somebody in the back while they're trying to make their gear?
I know you just did the MSQ. We were
I know
looking at
you're
ways
not.
to make it so you can
Of course
completely
not.
level by crafting if you want to.
Yeah.
Again, we'll have more details on these things in the future, but we're really trying to fine-tune these little experiences to feel like you can play how you want, and that it's, again, slightly familiar, but completely different when you play through it. And I'm really excited to be bringing these servers to you.
That's awesome. It's a whole
That is, yes, hi. They said seasonal wipes. I don't like seasonal wipes, but I understand in this type of server why they would want to do a seasonal wipe. If you don't seasonal wipe it, then you will have a server where people will be able to get so geared that any new player trying to get in on the server, it would be you would just be getting decimated by these extremely geared out people because of that. You kind of need that beginning and start race and that end period to kind of reset the clock, or it just keeps going off the rails.
whole new frontier. I mean, it's changing up all the time too, which is great.
Yes, we have, I can't wait to tell you about all the ideas we have for future ones. And of course, they become places to experiment with things that we might bring into the main game. But that's not all. One of the other things that we're very excited to bring you, JR, I won't upstage you. What are we bringing?
Okay, so we know OPR is one of our most popular modes, and we've had the same map since launch pretty much, right? Came out shortly after that. So I'm excited to announce that we are in development on a new OPR map, and we're going to actually have it be in a preview form for Season 7. Mm-hmm. We're going to have it on for a weekend, and we want to get the player feedback on it, and so they can, you guys, we want you to help us to develop the map. We want to make sure that this map is lives up to the expectations that you have, having waited for so long.
Yeah. And later in the video, we'll talk more about it, but I mean, this is just the beginning, right? We're spinning up multiple maps.
Yeah, absolutely. The modes pipeline is in full gear now. We're going to be making new game modes and new maps and for existing modes. And yeah, this new OPR map is kind of like the first one out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yay!
We want to show it to you, it's not potentially not fully ready, again, to get that feedback, but also we're just so excited.
Multiple maps got
Next
to
on
be
the list
excited, man.
is kind of a few small things that we're doing for mutations, which are expeditions in the game have normal and mutated levels. So for M3, which is the highest level, we're adding these to the instanced matchmaking system. In order to make sure this goes smoothly, we are unifying our mutations. Tell us about that, Chad.
Yeah, so big ticket item here is that all the currently active mutated expeditions will now share the same mutation. So elemental, promotions, curses, all those.
So, did y'all hear that? The new update, when it happens, it will no longer be Ennead Void, Forge Ice, or in Dynasty Nature, or something like that. Whatever rotation they put together. It's no longer going to be that way. You will have one set you gym out for that you have for that week, and that's it. Which I love. So here's a few things you guys need to do right now. Focus on one solid gear set if you're just going to swap gyms. Or if you have all 4 different gear sets, know that you're going to be not just swapping in and out of those gear sets, but you're going to be running them now possibly for a week at a time when you're farming these runs. It also means that gyms are going to lose their value. I say that they're going to lose their value because people will start to get smart. People are already buying them now, but people are going to understand, okay, now more than ever, it's going to make sense for me just to have different sets, multiple sets. Now more than ever, because now I could just set it and forget it. And as long as I have a void nature, a void nature, a void nature, ice, and fire set, as long as I got those 4 built out, I'll never need to buy gyms again. I'm good. I don't ever have to swap them out. Build them out, get them set, and you're done. So that means there will be, as people become smarter with and understanding that, you're going to start to see a decline in a decline on a need for gyms. So I would say that that's going to probably happen. I could be misreading the situation, but I think it's definitely going to start to decline. The gym economy is going to start to bring it down, because why wouldn't it, right? And you'll see people start to focus more on just those sets like I already run, but now people are going to be more focused on just really fine tuning these sets, because now they're going to see more value in actually building out multiple sets now, because they know that they're going to be swapping these sets from week to week, as it goes forward. So
those will be the same across all of them, which means a lot less re-gearing, gemming your gear, and hopefully just more time spent fighting and having a good time collecting loots.
And then the other thing we're doing is we're increasing the quality of the rewards in the M3s.
Yeah. So we're looking at adding crafting materials into mutated expeditions, as well as in raids, that together, when they're combined, you'll be able to craft new 725s. So this will be an alternative source and give meaning to want to go back into these expeditions and make sure that you're actually having fun in the content you want. We're going to continue looking at that and improving it. For now, we like where it's at, and we think that it'll give more players a reason to go visit this content.
So adding more options to your endgame content.
Yes.
Along those same lines, we're also adding 2 new daily solo trials to the roster.
3 new solo trials.
Oh,
So we've got, we're adding Mother's Dream, which is Emperor Zhu, Tempest Mind, which is Isabella, and Daichi Saito. So that's adding to our roster, so you should be seeing those.
The Daichi Sato fight, I'm so pissed that it gets glossed over. That was such a well done little mini part of the game. I love the Daicho side piece, little side soul trial, and its little part that got added in, and it completely just gets missed now. Most people don't even know it's in the game, and it was so good to me. I love that part of it.
It's in your list every day.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad. And then to round out the season, we have a few things that we like to do every season, starting with combat balance updates.
Yeah, so obviously, this is something we do every season. This season, some of the things that we focused on was time to kill. Something we've been seeing in PvP a lot. The fight's going a little too long. So we're making some adjustments to consumables and some of the perks. And then we're also looking at balance around target lock. Target lock's,
Target lock, you say?
Yeah, we turned it on in PvP for the Aternum launch, and we've been keeping an eye on the feedback. And
by the way, thanks again for all the feedback right before launch as we went through beta. It was very helpful, and we made some changes. And
yeah, absolutely. We did tone it down quite a bit from what it was in beta. And we're going to be continuing to tune things. One of the changes that's coming up in Season 7 is actually the blunderbuss was a problem. We had nerfed the damage going into launch. Now we've reversed that, and instead we've replaced it with some extra inaccuracy in target lock as kind of a balancing factor. Yeah. And we're going to be continuing to make tweaks like that in the future.
Yep, absolutely. There's also new artifacts, new perks.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be introducing 8 new artifacts in Season 7. 7 of them will be weapons, and there's 1 accessory, which is an earring.
Nice.
And yeah, there's some interesting combos that are going to come out of that.
There's an ice gauntlet in there that I really enjoy. It's a really cool ability on the gauntlet that lets me, when I ice tune, give me a large amount of regen at the end of that. So I'm excited to try out and see what I can actually get away with that, or if I still die. But we'll see how it goes.
Sounds like trouble.
Yeah, well,
that's his nickname.
That's the fun.
Joel Trouble Clift. And then, well, why don't you bring us home with talking about the seasonal events?
Yeah, so we're doing some refreshes on a few events. We're looking at Legacy of Crassus and upping the rewards a little bit more meaty rewards past level 700. Same with Siege of Sulfur. And then we're going to bring a little bit more rewards into Rabbit Revenge. That's a little bit more fun costumey. Maybe a little bit of trolley in there as well. We'll see how it goes. Hoping to get those events to console players for the first time as well, as they haven't seen these events.
So that's everything in next season. We're very excited about the OPR map.
Yeah.
Very excited about seasonal worlds.
Absolutely.
More details about both coming soon. And remember, we're just getting started. Now, let's talk about what's in development. So in development is Discover, and yeah, so I mean, there's tons on this list. Thank you.
Why I like Invasion as something that we're working on is because I think it's super cool content. It's sort of unique to New World, this idea of battling hordes of people. But the content is a little limited in terms of participation because it's only a set time. It can only take this many people. So what if we turn this into a mode, right? Like I think we're starting to make more and more modes. The activity screen is a great place to sort of like, what do I feel like doing? So like, let's get Invasion into a mode. And I think once you start going in that frame of mind, I'm sure lots of things could we add some more enemies? Could we add maybe mutations? What happens to the rewards? Like lots of ideas start to come up.
Yeah, definitely like adding more variety to the mode. Like we have all these different kinds of corrupted enemies that we aren't using in the mode currently. So like bringing those in and like having it vary up like per season even, like be awesome.
Yeah, it's great content. I mean, speaking of modes, I mean, that's one of the things that your team's looking into more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually prototyping lots of different kinds of game modes, things you might have seen in other games like Capture the Flag, that we think would actually work really well in our game. Also like a Battle Royale mode, like a lot of those systems that make up Battle Royale already exist in the game. So like, mashing them together, creating a queuable mode for that.
Yep.
Did he just say Battle Royale in New World? Capture the Flag would be epic. Capture the Flag wouldn't be that too bad. Capture the Flag would actually be pretty sick. All you would have is people just running Fire Staff Rapier and just Fire Staff Rapier away, Burnout Flesh, Fleet of Fleshay, Burnout Fleshay. I mean, you catching them would be, you can get pretty squirrely. It'd be fun though. It'd be fun. Ew, let BRs effing die. Yeah, true.
And then also like, so kind of like a framework
Honestly, kind of true beast.
For new modes might be like doing like more of a seasonal type experience where every season
Very true beast.
there's like a featured game mode for that season and we vary it up like every season.
Yeah, I love that. Like even something like Capture the Flag, one season.
Not every game needs to steal everything from every other game. So to Beast's point, not every game needs a BR. New World is one of the last games I would ever think about a PvP BR mode. I mean, you talk about systems already be there. I mean, hell, Destiny has all the systems needed that you could, if you want to do a BR as well. I mean, there's so many games that are looter shooters and stuff like that you can do BR modes with. Not every game needs one, and I would say New World does not need BR.
And maybe we try it with mounts the next season without. Like there's ways you can sort of like keep it fresh and interesting.
Yeah, it increases
Correct.
variety, and then it also kind of keeps the number of modes maintainable so that we don't split up matchmaking too much and stuff like that.
Jay says, has any MMO ever had a BR? That's a great question. Not that I can remember. Not that I can recall. And there's probably a good reason for that. I know you could possibly say, well, maybe they're getting into an untapped market. But yeah. Usually this late in the game of gaming, if a MMO hasn't touched on something, there's probably a good reason for it.
For
yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah, like
Hunters Arena and
every
WoW
new
thing?
queue
Okay.
that we add like splits our player base, so we want to avoid that.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone talk about I play WoW BR or Hunters Arena.
And then we've talked a lot about modes and how like they sit really well next to our open world, but like the open world and the persistent new world experience is super important, and that's where we're looking at all kinds of stuff like Q.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember watching Soda Pop and play it. That's right. I remember watching Soda play the WoW BR. Yeah. I watched Soda play it, and I also watched Lyric play it. Because you had upgrades and things you could pick up that had they gave you set talents when you picked them up. Yeah.
Things.
Yeah,
Wow.
like one that I
Solid one.
know we're thinking about is storage, right? Like how many times have you been crafting and you're like, where is this material? Or you're
so much.
you're about ready to run a mutation and you need a special piece of gear, right? So like if storage was much more global,
Yep.
what
But
would that be like?
still filterable. You want to be able to make sure you can find those things or sort it in a way that's meaningful to you, but not have to chase it down every time you want to do an action like crafting and other places like that, right? Pull it out.
Yeah, this is one where we have to kind of solve like more edge cases than you think of. There's tech, but I mean, we definitely want to do it and get it out there. Similar to modes, also one of the pieces of
Thank God I can't stand storage. Bro, that is out of everything they've said, all the stuff they've talked about, new OPR maps and global storage has me the hypest. I'm the most hyped for that. Crazy, right? Literally, I'm so hyped, so damn hyped for global storage. You just don't understand how much of a pain point that is. And I did some storage maintenance today. It is such a pain point.
event game content that we love, but we want to try to improve upon is wars.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other things I'm hyped for, but those are two of my ones that I've kind of picked out that I like. All right, let's talk about pickup wars here. This is a good one, guys. Listen to this one.
Experienced the war because it is very exclusive content, but it is so good. It's so fun. So our goal is to provide a way for
way
the
too
rest
high.
of the
You know
players
the
to try
pain,
it out,
brother.
right?
You know the pain.
So the thought is that we would do some kind of like private war system or like a pickup war where any company can challenge another company to a war. So that's just a way of like, you know, bringing war to the masses.
I love it, right? Because there's so much that, you know, war relies on right now. Like, it's so important that people don't want to take risks. But if you make it something that like any two companies can set it up, you don't even have to be in a company. Maybe just any, 50 people can get together. It allows people to try new builds. It allows people to try new people rather than slot the exact same people in every time. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's a place right now where you can't really slot somebody unless you have no way to vet them or audition them. And then, like you said, just more people being able to experience it at all. So we've heard from a lot of you, and we completely agree that the start game for a new world is now better than it's ever been. The mid game is feeling good. It's really when you get to the end game and the kind of like systems and dailies take over. That's where we think we can double down and make things start to really click and awesome. We've all got thoughts on this, but Joel, why don't you begin?
Yeah, absolutely. So first I want to say we hear you and we understand that a lot of the older content, we really want to refresh that. We want to make it feel like you can go back to Reek Water and have impact. You can go back to really crafting high-end gear, finding unique things from crafting. In an earlier segment, we talked a little bit about how we're improving item crafting from mutated dungeons. We really want to take that to another level across the board. One example would be looking at reputation systems for some of the zones and being able to build up and kind of have a reason to go somewhere you might not normally go, build up, get better rewards, have reasons to go craft there.
What do you think? I got a question for you, chat. What do y'all think the least, the zone that people have the least reputation in? What zone in New World do you think has the least reputation that most characters don't have any? That characters have the lowest in, and I already freaking know that. I think I know the answer to that. But what do y'all think it is?
Have reasons to go do, different gameplay elements such as ECRs, such as questing, potentially new gameplay activities.
Can't blame
in
storage
some of those
when you
areas,
hoard in every game. Stop.
We're really trying to push kind of play how you want to play.
Yeah.
Part of that's like making rewards that you care about, right?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
So it's like in the past we've had just
Fake
like this
Beano
gear
says
score chase,
says
and then
Restless
you get the
Shore.
perks you want, and then you're kind of done, right? Like
Way
but
too
we're
high,
talking
pulling
about
in with Reek
having
Water.
a larger variety of perks that are like more
Reek
of a
Water,
horizontal
really, bro?
progression. Like something the combat team's been talking about actually is
Reek Water?
Like we have like one unique perk per ability, but there's nothing to stop us from making like 10 unique perks per ability, right? Like, and having just a lot of variety and like changing up your gameplay that kind of is more of like a horizontal thing.
And then taking that a step further and potentially putting those perks in unique places. So I have to go to this dungeon or Reek Water or this zone to be able to get those perks. And also making those perks have more of an impact in different game modes and different areas of the game as well will really help flesh some of this out. Really make.
I think the place that has the lowest reputation in it, most likely, is Morningdale. Top right of the map, Morningdale. Good old rainy
meaningful is something
Morningdale.
that I'm personally passionate about. I love to go gather, click rocks, whatever you want to say in the game. That's my jam. I love
Who the
doing those
hell
type of
goes to
things. You'll
Morningdale?
find me gathering more often than not. But I really
bet
want to
y'all
make
probably
sure that
forgot
crafting
about
has
that damn
immediate impact
territory.
that we had previously. You're able to craft some of the best gear, and it has a reason and a purpose. Is one of the biggest goals. We have for
Morningdale or
this.
Restless Shore has to be the lowest one.
Beyond that, really making sure that you can kind of play the way you want and go to the zones that you want or the modes that you want, and making sure that those rewards are meaningful, not just go to the raid, not just go to Sandworm.
No, I'm talking for globally all the players. If you were to add up and average everybody's reputation of all the players across the globe, minus the people that minus the bots and the gold farmers, real actual players, and you wanted to say which area probably has the worst, which on average to reputation is the lowest for most players. I was saying Morningdale, but you're saying Restless Shore? Yeah, because Restless Shore is just pretty much like 90% water, ain't it? Or like a good 70% just water. It has like one of the smallest land masses. Not much there. Y'all may be right.
Get golden coconuts and other things like that.
Yeah, I think that's the best summary. Is like play the way you want and always feel like you're making an impact, like you're progressing in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key. And there's so many ways we can do that. I love the idea of the reputation systems because it's like a new level of meta progression. And I think there's some neat ways we could do that versus just a very grindy way, make it more quest oriented or something like where you feel like you're.
The reason why I'm asking this question, and to my people that are going to be watching this on YouTube, what do you think is the lowest reputation globally for all players on average? Which one is the lowest reputation? Answer in the comments below. I want to know for you guys watching on YouTube. My guess is going to be Morningdale, but I'm starting to see what people are saying about Restless Shore, probably RS. And the reason I'm asking that is I guarantee you that's going to probably be where they start to experiment with trying to do these in-game updates.
Unlocking powers in a zone, I think there's cool ideas there.
And this is another place where seasonal worlds kind of help us experiment and try out new systems. Look for more of that.
Yeah, I think if we can get this end game ripping, like we have the sort of the early and middle game,
Ripping,
I think
dude.
that's the sort of the last piece, like you said, that could really sort of keep people playing and excited.
And like, it's going to take a lot of work. Like, we have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that we want to do, which is why you'll
If we can really get this in-game ripping, dude.
see on our living roadmap that we have improvements
He looked
to
at
things and,
look at he looked like you mother.
and overhauls to
The way
things.
he looked at the
And,
camera.
one is from
Yeah,
midterm,
oh
one's from
my
long
God,
term.
he looked at the camera like I heard you.
Maybe this feels
I
like a
heard
good
you, bro.
place
What you got to say?
now
You got
start
beef?
Talking about long term. All right, now we're joined at the table by
Damn.
Kurt, our lead designer for world content. And we're going to talk about the third category on our document, which is in exploration. We want to share our early thinking and what we have in store for sometime in the future. As we said earlier, we're all in on endgame right now. We want to make replayable content. We want to make more things to chase, more frequent content updates. And some of the things we're thinking about are, we'll start with kind of our known things like new weapons, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. So nothing to announce on specifics here, but we are in development on our next weapon, and we actually are going to be prototyping multiple weapons, and they'll be coming out at a more regular cadence in the future.
Yep. And then new zone up levels and new zones. So Kurt, you worked on the Cutlass Keys up level, for example.
We're not just gonna let that slide by. I need to see up top here, guys, your prediction for the new weapon. This will be the first new weapon since the flail. What do you think it's gonna be?
That's right. Cutlass Keys was an experiment in what it would be like to create a max level replayable zone in New World. As many of you know, the questing system and level up experience looks a lot different than it did when it first launched. And as part of that streamlined process to make it level up as immersive and fun as it could be, there are parts of the game that kind of got left out of that streamlined leveling quest line that we did. So we're looking at taking some of those zones that are no longer part of the level up experience and repurposing them into max level explorable play spaces. And so one of the things that we're currently working.
We just said it, and that's what they're doing. Chat, YouTubers, if y'all hadn't seen this, if y'all didn't just see me predict that I ain't seen this, man. I saw bits and pieces, but I didn't see this particular part. And I called it the lowest reputation, non-visited. Big shout outs to Deepu as well. He said they're no longer in the MSQ rotation. So he was spot on with that too. So guarantee you Morningdale and Rest Ashore get a rework and become in-game playable zones. And he's got his mouth open for the Gok 3000. Look at that.
On is a Reekwater up level to refresh Reekwater for max level players and bring new elements of progression and gameplay to the zone.
I think one of the things I'm most excited about that is some of the collection elements that I've seen from your team that you guys are really investing in. I'm a player that really likes to go exploring. I like a little bit of PvP, and getting me out into the world to just kind of emergently discover what's there or go out and look for these things to collect is something that's my jam. I really enjoy that, so I'm excited to see what happens with these.
Yeah, the idea with Reekwater is that we want to try and create more of an open world experience than an on-rails quested experience.
Yeah.
There's so much content in the game, actually.
Dual swords. Okay. I think dual wielding will make a return to that point. I think dual wielding weapons, and I think you will find even dual wielding weapons that are going to be artifacts. And you may even see a sword and sword combo, or even a sword dagger combo, right? Or even dagger dagger. And you'll see pistols. I think you're going to see either solo, or you're going to see single pistol or double pistols. I actually probably see just double pistols. That's what I think.
Players don't really have a reason to explore because they hit max level, and there's like no reason to go back to this zone. That so like this is awesome. Like
and this in conjunction with some of the stuff that we've already talked about, like a reputation framework. These are
you see it. Keep a look on the background. Yeah, you see this right here. You see it. So you got hatchet, musket.
Going to be great systems.
Oh
to
yeah, they
use
do.
Going
They
forward to make.
Okay, look, they do. That's right. They keep a look. Keep a look at the background. They love dropping Easter eggs. I forgot about that. They love doing Easter eggs in the actual in the dev video themselves. They don't say anything, but they keep them out there. Dual hatchets will go hard. They used to be in the game. Deep for all my OGs at the very, 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 very beginning, like beta, like alpha. Wasn't dual hatchets part of the game?
Our end game content more replayable for players.
Yeah, and there's more even than what's.
I think I remember
our,
from one of my
what we're
beta
publishing
plays
and
that the
talking
dual
about today,
hatchet was a
but yeah,
thing.
like taking all the content, give you reasons not just to go to it, maybe even for the first time, but again and again and again. And I'm very excited about how we're kind of approaching doing our up levels as building the pieces to eventually culminate in that new zone when that does finally come out. New World is always meant to be a sand park, and we started out all sand long ago, back in the alpha days. And we've got our park nice and built, and I think where we're at now, just we need to kind of find that right balance between sand and park. And that means bringing more sandbox. Like we have the systems in place, so like when you see us say things like influence tower, claim siege system, territory overhaul, these are things that players have been asking for, and I think everybody's got a different idea of what to do. But to me, like I would even conceptually say that company hall ties with that, because like these are things
alpha, not beta.
We need a way to feel like you have a home in the game, that you're doing some kind of a base building loop, and that's what the territory system is meant to be. But it's just, I think we can
that
get
you
it
and your
there.
friends, that you and your company have goals to be able to build up and activities to do together, and feel like you're making meaningful progression and impact on what those things are. Again, together you're building up, and I think that's a big thing. I love those company style guild halls and other things that you can build in other games, and I'm excited to see what we do there. I think that's something I'm personally going to enjoy a lot.
Also, like making it more than just like the top companies on the server get to participate. Like it's more like anyone can start a company, build something. Like they have a little slice of the world that they own. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's also worth mentioning that we're not just focused on overhauling or revamping existing locations and systems, but we are ideating on new locations in the world that we can add to New World to progress the narrative and expand the world in new, exciting ways as well.
Some of the early looks on some of the new areas and raid style stuff that we're prototyping, I'm so excited for. They're just so cool looking.
Yeah, me too.
Some of the coolest art assets I've seen, so I'm excited to see players get those things.
Yeah. Well, we won't go into any more details than that, although there were no details at all. But we won't talk anymore about some of the ideas. But the big takeaway is like we're excited we hear the players. New World is a wonderful world to just hang out in and play in.
Yep.
Wow, that was a lot of it, all
Yep.
that information. All
Yep.
exciting. If I had to pick one thing, though, I think the seasonal servers are just going to change the way people play the game.
A while. I'm excited to bring something out for players. I think they're going to like it.
I'm just excited to go home and ride my turkey mount.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble gobble.
My goodness. Yeah, we talked a lot about like what's coming next and things that we're thinking of for the future. But there is something that's coming up that we haven't talked about, which is free trials. So this is something that's on console. And so if you have friends or family who've been wanting to try out New World Aternum, this is a really great opportunity for them to hop in and try it out for free. So look for more details on that on the site.
And beyond that, the one thing I really want to do is just a big thank you, heartfelt thank you. Like, the team put their heart and soul into making New World Aternum, and when you see so many people come in and play and experience it and have a good time, it makes it all worth it. Feels really good. So, like, on behalf of the entire team, thank you to all the players. Like we couldn't be more appreciative. And with that, we will see you in Aternum.
All right, chat. There it is. Scott does it again. All right, YouTube, let's wrap up my final thoughts on the dev video. Here is what I think. Everything that they talked about is a great call out. And what I am more concerned with right now, I don't know about you guys over in chat, but what I am concerned with is I am very concerned that players stick around for this content coming up. Now, the good thing is they aren't, you know, New World Aternum's only been out, what, 6 weeks? 6 weeks, almost 2 months. Their timing's really right on the dev update, so it's really good that they're starting to understand they got to come out and start talking about stuff. People's attention spans in 2024, it's only getting shorter every year. So I'm excited about a lot of the changes. All the thing that we're going to have to do, and I know this is a challenge of my own, and I'll even call myself out on this. Us as OG players, we got to learn, we got to curve our negative feedback around Aternum because of our past experiences. I know. You paid your money, you can gripe about what you want, but if you truly want New World to succeed, welcome the new players with open arms, and I'll try to make it going forward to give New World the best shake they can. You know, I'm gonna be as transparent if I'm asked, though. I'm not gonna shy away if I'm asked, but I won't volunteer as hard as I've been lately with, oh yeah, it's a great game to get now, but let me tell you about how bad it used to be. I think if we want it to do well, we need to welcome in the new players with open arms and foster in a great area for people to hang out and enjoy New World like we love. So, you know, I've had a lot of growing pains with New Worlds. Y'all see me leave the directory, come back to the directory, leave the directory, come back. Even with as many hours I have in a game, you know, kind of giving my time to cool off, especially when I've gotten upset playing it. And I think I have every right to, with as much investment I've put into New World. And I think any player does. When they don't do, and you have done your due diligence of giving feedback, and you've done your due diligence of trying to let them know how you feel about something, and you feel like your ideas or what you want out of the game isn't there, you aren't bound by some sort of blood contract to keep playing. But just know that if and when they do address it, you know, make sure you revisit to see if you want to give it a chance, right? And I hope that old OG players will, you know, continue to keep giving New World a chance. I'm turning over a new leaf. I've made plenty of statements over a while talking about New World, and this isn't a walk back at all. I still am triple down, say with my chest, stand on business about everything I said about New World ahead of time. But what I will say is I'll still give them a chance. Even though I have made statements about contrary to that beforehand, I'll give it a chance. I'll change my mind. So for as it sits now, we're Team New World. We're gonna rock this out and keep it moving. But they got to come through. This is the last straw. They bomb this, and I swear to you that I don't think there won't be anything else they can do. So I think they know that. I think Scott knows that. I think the whole team knows that. And I could just hear from their voice and the amount of dedication and passion they have behind the delivery. I think we're gonna be all right, chat. So let's let them work and let them get to it and let them do their thing. All right, YouTube. That's been my kind of take on the New World Aternum new dev, the first post Aternum dev update. Guys, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the follow, like, turn on the bell icon so you get notifications when new videos come out. And also in the comments below, let me know what was your favorite thing covered in this video. I'd love to chat up with you guys. I'll see you live on the Twitch at twitch.tv/BabyFNelson. It's your boy Nelson signing out. See you later, baby. All right, chat.